Comparison of the student motivation in learning aviation English between face-to-face and online classes. Authors: Manuel Ursua, April Abad, Kim Farallon, Aileen Lomibao, and Santiago. Advisor: Dr. Leo Mendel Rosario from the Department of Aviation Communication, Institute of Liberal Arts and Sciences of Philippine State College of Aeronautics. Abstract. This study aims to compare the students' motivation in learning aviation English during face-to-face class and online learning. Due to the pandemic, students and teachers alike are forced to find another way to compensate for the lost classes. This is where online class comes in. However, some students' motivation might have changed due to the forced change in studying methods. This specifically analyzes the underlying motivational factors that makes the two systems differ from each other. A number of 50 students from Philippine State College of Aeronautics who have experience in learning aviation English in both traditional and online class will be selected as participants. Various factors that affect students' motivation, like environmental and pedagogical factors, are identified and used in forming Likert scale questionnaires. All mentioned factors will be proposed to evaluate on the 5-point evaluation scale to test the students' level of perception to the given factors. The findings of this study will contribute new knowledge to materialize in finding methods to enhance students' motivation in learning aviation English. The COVID-19 pandemic caused universities and schools to switch totally from face-to-face to online learning, resulting in an unexpected learning environment for both students and educators, which was not easy for either the professors or the students who were not prepared for it. That is according to Sir Handi in his study about the transition from face-to-face to remote learning last 2020. The learning system shifted from classroom setting to online meetings, where online meeting applications such as Zoom and Google Meet are utilized. The sudden change required the students and instructors to adapt in a span of a very short time, as it is far different when it comes to learning environment, as well as to the accessibility to internet and information. Al-Huri also stated in one of his studies that learners are rational individuals whose progress depends on the powerful influence of motivational factors in modern language teaching contexts, which is related to what Karimi and his team said, that motivation is a driving force to learn the highly specialized features of aviation English. Due to this sudden change, learning motivation of students was highly affected. Sir Handi also concluded on the previous study mentioned that students were not fully satisfied with their learning experience during this transition period due to many factors that contributed.
For the research problem, this study aims to know what is the difference in students' motivation to learn aviation English during traditional and online class. There is a need to learn the factors that affects the motivation of students in learning aviation English due to its level of difficulty, especially in standard phraseology where it includes technical terms. So, the data that would be gathered can be used as a structure in creating new learning methods that can help increase the effectiveness of teaching while still keeping the students motivated to learn during the pandemic.
For the solution to our problem, we can compare the motivation between two learning methods and look for a breakthrough to create a new basis of learning. Now, for the novelty of our research, we will be more specific on the subject. We will tackle the subject aviation English as well as specific factors that is not academic related. Now let's move on to the significance of the study. In terms of new knowledge, this can materialize new methods of enhancing student motivation as well as addressing the factors that affect it. The study will also aid educational institutions to determine the most effective way to improve student learning quality. The results of this study can also apply to all students regardless of their course and demographics. This can be a breakthrough to one of the most prominent problems of learning. Moving on to the statement of the problem, we are primarily looking for three things. First, the demographic profile of the respondents, which includes their year, course, occupation, etc. Second, we are looking to identify the prominent factors that affect students' motivation and learning, academic or non-academic related. Last, We hope to find and formulate new learning methods that we can incorporate to improve the results of the study.
The following hypothesis will be tested. Alternative hypothesis, where it shows that there is a significant difference between the two learning systems when it comes to students' motivation. Null hypothesis, where it shows that there is no significant difference between the two learning systems when it comes to students' motivation.
Conceptual framework. For our input, the demographic profile are tertiary level students of PhilSCA that have experienced both face-to-face and online classes. We consider different factors that affects the student motivation in learning aviation English. For process, we have modified Likert scales questionnaire, data gathering, arithmetical average, and t-test. We'll be comparing the results in the two approaches to determine the highest factor that influence students' motivation. For output, apply the findings to identify motivational factors of motivation in blended learning and improve its effectiveness.
For the population and sample, this online survey will be conducted in Philippine State College of Aeronautics, Villamor, Pasay City, Philippines. 50 aviation communication students from 3rd year and 4th year levels will be selected with experience in face-to-face class and online learning. For the instruments, a 5-point evaluation scale questionnaire will be the instrument to gather data for the researchers to be able to evaluate how survey responders feel about a particular statement. Responders are typically asked to choose from a range of options, which are scaled between 5 being the highest and 1 as the lowest. The questionnaire with 15 items was about students' personal experience during both face-to-face class and online learning. All questions were based on the subject Aviation English, psychological and pedagogical factors to student motivation, educational process, and students' perception of their classroom engagement. For the data collection procedure, will be distributed online to the respondents using Google Forms to the 50 students in both 3rd year and 4th year levels in Philippine State College of Aeronautics. Researchers will be using arithmetical average and t-test to determine mean factors that have highest influence on student motivation.
Part 1 questionnaire, psychological and pedagogical factors to students' motivation and educational process. Part 2, students' perception of their classroom engagement. And Part 3, students' perception in learning aviation English.